hello again. My timeline is Tuesday, March 6th still. I know you had that weird dream last night. And it was one of those, like, there was definitely a storyline before, but I didn't remember everything except when I was going into the room. It was just weird. But that feeling, you know how you get that feeling where you're, because I sleep face up, and so that feeling of like you can't move because you're like gravity is like pulling you back. That's how it felt. But I got myself up. Like I was stronger in that feeling that whatever was going on, that I did get up. I was able to like get myself up, turn to the side, which was facing my doorway, and yell at whatever was like to get out. And I felt all this fear, and I think it was mine a little bit because of the storyline. It was just a little weird. Yeah. I don't know. But that woke, I was up. Like I was yelling at my door, and I was like, okay, I'm up. and then realizing, right, that I needed to figure out and embrace, like, is that what I'm supposed to be embracing? But why do I feel fear? Is that my fear because it feels a little more intense? And I think I mentioned, like, afterwards, when I asked God about it, I saw the waves, and the waves were more like crystal, like shimmery, like thin, like it was like it felt like a veil, like shimmering all over. But anyways, so I went running today. It felt great going running. And the funny thing is, the video that was scheduled to post this morning was on running too. And I'm scheduling them ahead. I'm trying to do that. I have to be done by today because I have plans tomorrow and Thursday, and then I'll have Friday left. But I kind of want to take it slow because I have to pack. So either Friday or Sunday, I'll be posting ahead because I'll be gone next week. I'm going to Tucson. I'm going to Tucson, Arizona with 3 strangers. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to learn. I'm just excited to learn. But it's just funny because I'm definitely venturing out of my comfort zone. Like, that's like a given, right? I mean, I think throughout this whole process, that's been the given, right? The default setting of why I'm doing this. It's just embracing all this new stuff. But that wasn't what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about my running and the waves. So remind me, running and the waves. So I went running today, and they finished. It's funny because in the video I talk about how I had to go with traffic because they were working on their street. It's nice now, like they fixed a little bit of the pavement, but then they left a gap of rocks, but it was nice. And then I told myself, I'm like, I'm enjoying the run, right? I'm not going to, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. I'm not going to rush through it like I usually do. Like, I'm gonna take, I'll jog my pace, go slow, and I wanted to be more aware. So the video that I posted was about when like the songs like stopped playing, and I'd be lying, like I didn't completely go back to like not listening to music because I love music and it puts me in a good mood, and I like the dancing, and I haven't been dancing, like I just, because it's just been so busy. It's just been so busy that I haven't made the time to dance inside my house, and so I really wanted to make an effort to at least dance while I'm running. So I'm like, not running the whole way. I'm stopping and going with the music, and And then but I did tell myself, like, I want to be more aware, right? And then I thought, I used to work with children who were deaf. And it was the most interesting experience because I'm trying to teach them social skills, right? And the funny thing is in the previous video the video that I posted this morning, I'm talking about how there's different styles of learning. When you have a child that's deaf, it's like a curveball there. Because not only am I looking, the auditory part is completely like ruled out, right? You rule that out completely when you're interacting with a child who's deaf. And because they don't have access to that, or if they do, if they're hard of hearing, then it's like really, really low. And so what happens? They accommodate as they get older, depending on their environment, right? Like I had a situation where a kiddo was living with a grandparent who signed but very limited, and then I think I worked with another kiddo as well, and it was just different dynamics. It was just so interesting to have opportunities to work with these different families of children who were deaf. I think maybe I had like 3 or 4 families that I worked with, different types of work. But realizing that and they all had different levels of whether it was hard of hearing or deaf completely, or and so I'm remembering one of the first kiddos, and I'm trying to teach him social skills, and I'm having to use the interpreter as well, like, and I'm having to learn from the interpreter, and I'm relying on the interpreter to a certain level as well, because I'm like, hey, can you help me assess this child in terms of their level of understanding, right? Because I'm trying to teach them a certain skill set, but I don't want to overwhelm them if their level of understanding is really high, because I have to take all of that into consideration, right? These kiddos, even though, this kiddo might be 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're functioning at that level socially and emotionally, right? They might be functioning at a lower level, depending on the exposure. And then I think about it, and during that time I remember thinking, kids learn by seeing, right? And hearing conflicts and how it's resolved. So these kids are kind of at a disadvantage in the sense that they don't get to hear the problem-solving piece of it from their peers around them. They have their sight, so they can kind of see facial expressions and whatnot, but how much of that they actually take in, who knows? Because then it's also dependent on how alert they are with their surrounding, or if they're kind of stuck in their own world, right? You know how sometimes I get stuck in my own mind. So I had to take that all in when I was preparing my treatment plan for these kiddos, and realizing that I need to really assess carefully where they are in their level of understanding and socialization. And I remember, I think I went to the school to observe them too, and work with them there too. But anyways, they have to learn in a different way, right? You compensate. You just naturally compensate. Same thing goes with someone who's blind, right? Their other senses are heightened, right? So their hearing becomes so much more, what's the right word? Heightened. Where they can pick up stuff, right? That maybe, for us, we're like, so I thought about that. As I was running, I'm like, I'm still gonna listen to my music, right? But I'm gonna be more aware, visually aware of my surroundings than just like in my own tutru head, right? So I'm running, and it's fascinating what I saw. the different level of awareness, right? Of just the pavement and the homes, and I noticed, I'm like, how many times have I ran by this house and never realized they had chickens in a chicken coop? And then what else did I notice? you know, a house that had 2 red doors in it, and you know, this other house that had a truck with like with colchones and stuff in the back, and it just reminded me like just moving and just little things like that. Like I there's a Thai vegan place. I didn't even know that's like literally right around the street. So I'm gonna have to check that place out. There's there was another store. There's a like a dessert place that sells baklava and some other sweets. I was like, oh yeah, I love baklava. And there was this other place that sold alkaline water, and that reminded me of this other person. And then there's this other place that there were, oh, there's a bar. I mean, I knew of the bar, but I didn't know if it was open. I'm like, maybe I should go and try check this place, bar and grill. But just little things like that, my level of awareness was just so much more heightened. So much more heightened, and of what shops were around my area. And then also like noticing the ones that didn't make it, that had to close down. And so it was fun. It was fun to be more aware, visually aware of my surroundings, right? And what I discovered in that process. And yeah. So it just reminded me of that. Just you know, that even though I know in that video I posted, I was like, oh, you know, make a choice to like do things differently, which I did, right? I still chose to listen to my music. But I was more aware in terms of visually, like instead of being caught in my head with my thoughts, I made an effort to look at my surroundings to see, oh, there was like an options for youth. So that I've worked with options for youth before, but it's in the field of education. I'm like, I wonder if they're hiring, you know, like just other side gigs, right? And then I thought maybe I should get my CBEST again and try to do substitute teaching. You know, that might work. That might work. And so yeah. Just it was just really neat to see those other shops too. I should have taken a picture. Dang it. I should have taken a picture. And I thought about it too. I was like, oh, I should take a picture so I don't forget. But the Thai vegan place really stood out, and the little sweet, not that I want to eat sweets right now, but you know, if I want to get treats for somebody, like baklava. I love baklava. Yeah. So anyways. Oh, wait, waves. The waves. So, a lot of movement. Definitely more waves, and it was like rising. It was definitely rising, like with a little more intensity. And then there was definitely like that ping pong motion again. There's definitely a ping pong motion, and then it went to this movement, and then it felt like it was like back to the old cycles again, and the purple was brighter, and it was going to the left. The cycle was like it would start and then go down and then dissipate, and then it would start again and then go down, and then go up a little bit, and then it would start and then it go down, and then it kind of would raise up a little bit, but it didn't go past like this side, but it was still like moving. It feels nice to see the waves again. Haven't seen them in a while. I mean, I'd seen them, but not like that. I mean, in terms of like the flowiness, like it was quick. And you know what I did differently this time? I hooked up my meditation music, so that helped to like it was one of the old school ones that because lately I had been switching it, but it was one of the old school ones that I had started off using to meditate. So I don't know, maybe just kind of help to connect quickly. No images this time. No images. So I really need to look up at, you know, MJ's videos on finish up the ones on like Am I Psychic to see if that applies at all. I don't know. And then she posted another one about your like how to read your birth chart in the sense of like your old life, your south node. So I'm gonna look at that too. And then I think I really want to meet up with Miss Christina. I keep saying that. Like I was looking and reviewing on all my other videos, and I keep saying Miss Christina, Miss Christina. I haven't done it. I have to do it for sure before I run out of cash. Cause so I don't know if I share that story. So I think I bought myself like another month of being on God's good humor with finances because of our taxes that came in. I don't remember if I recorded on that. So I guess maybe I'll share it for another time because it's 16:03 and I'm trying to keep these short. So sorry for another time. Stay tuned. All right. Bye. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So take care.